on to New York. You want to be the mayor of New York City, which, last night I chat GPT'd, where is the capitalist and global finance center of the world? And it said New York City, which made me feel good as someone who loves New York City. Is that a moniker that you're proud of and one that you want to continue for this city?
We should be proud of it. And I will also say that that's one thing you have in common with Andrew Cuomo, because he also uses ChatGPT to answer many questions, including how to actually resolve the housing crisis in the city. And
Right.
It's time that we are not only proud of us being the financial capital, the cultural capital, but also we should make it a capital of where working people can afford to live in this city. Because right now what we're seeing is that 1 in 4 New Yorkers are being priced out of the wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world.
That's absolutely true.
Ooh, bang. First, not even a minute in, 47 seconds, he made the host laugh. I don't know who this is, but she's certainly a Republican. I mean, she's a basic Fox News blonde, right? He made her laugh, and then he got her to say, that's absolutely true. Again, in less than 1 fucking minute. This is a masterclass, and we're not even a minute in. Genuinely stunned by how well he handled that. Again, not that it was a very tough question, but still. I mean, for him to immediately come up with a witty retort, knocking down Cuomo, hitting Cuomo for his ChatGPT use as well. Witty, good, funny, made her laugh right off the bat, but then immediately sidesteps the whole New York is the capitalist fucking epicenter of the world or whatever. What do you say about that? And he just goes right back to affordability, which has honestly been his masterstroke this entire campaign. Whenever you're asked about basically anything, just go back to affordability, because that's what people actually give a fuck about. You'll see him do it time and time again, but it's so fucking brilliant.
Yep. Masterclass in how to politic. Couldn't agree more.
And one of the things that's also true is that JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs have moved major operations to Texas. They've not abandoned New York, but they're hedging their bets on New York because of the increased taxes that they see coming if you become mayor. So when they do that, jobs move out of the city as well. So how does that help affordability if people in the city don't have the jobs that they once had here?
Well, I'm looking to make this a city that every person chooses, whether they're a business leader or they're someone who works for that business. And the key ways of doing that are actually delivering quality of life, public safety, and affordability for each and every person. Because what we're seeing right now is we have a broken status quo. We have a corrupt political system, and we have the politicians that sustain that. That's really what's on the ballot, is whether New Yorkers want to continue that or whether they actually want a city they can afford. That's what I'm going to deliver.
So, Governor Hochul, you would have to get approval from the legislature to raise individual taxes, income taxes, and also corporate taxes in New York, which you've said you would like to do in order to pay for the free buses and the free childcare and the different programs, the government grocery stores and the like. She says no new taxes in her governor's race. So what are you going to do if she won't allow taxes to be raised? How will you pay for these programs?
I've said time and again that I believe these are the most straightforward ways that we can actually fund universal childcare, making buses fast and free. Mm-hmm. And I've said that the 2 clear ways to do so, raising personal income taxes on the top 1% by 2%, and raising the corporate tax to match that of New Jersey's corporate tax of 11.5%. Now, if there are other ways to raise this money to fund this agenda, the most important things that
This is really important, because while he is kind of tap dancing here and he's going back and pivoting to affordability, which is going to be the trademark or the fixture not just of his campaign, but specifically this Fox News segment here, I also think it's important for us to point out that there is a 0% chance JP Morgan Chase leaves New York City. It is laughable. It is pathetic to imagine a world where all of the biggest bankers just get up and leave New York City because their income tax was raised 2%. It's not happening, guys. It's not happening at all. And the other thing that they're going to try and do is they're going to try and act like Kathy Hochul is going to be like an immovable block, an unshakable burden for Zohran Mamdani, right? That would have been the case maybe if Andrew Cuomo would have been the governor, but I actually think Kathy Hochul is somebody that can be swayed by polling, and Zohran
She already has been. She had to endorse him.
Exactly. And I think that Zohran turning out thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers to be like, we demand a tax increase on these people. If he leads rallies in Manhattan where he's like, it's an affordability rally, we're going to have Bernie Sanders come, We're going to have AOC come. We're going to have Summer Lee come. We're going to have X, Y, and Z come. And we're all talking about how we need to bring affordability back to this country. And we're going to start right here in New York City, one of the most unaffordable places in the entire nation. There is no chance that global capital just gets up and leaves, guys. There's no chance. You have to call their bluff. That's what Zohran is going to do. Right? That's what he's not saying to this woman right here because he's on Fox News and he's trying to, be a politician. But what he really knows deep down is that he's going to get into office talking about affordability, and he's going to deliver by calling their bluff and raising those damn taxes.
Fund the agenda. I still think that these are the most important and clear ways we can do it. And I'm thankful to have Governor Hochul's support in this race and the fact that she said we have a shared commitment to delivering universal childcare for New Yorkers across the city.
I think that's great. I think everybody would love to have free health care and free buses and all these things. But the question is, how do you pay for it? The city's already in debt. The governor says no to new taxes. Like Margaret Thatcher said, socialism's great until you run out of everyone else's money, other people's money.
Well, what Andrew Cuomo said is that if he had $959 million, he'd give it to Elon Musk in tax credits because that's exactly what he did. And I bring that up to you to say that it's often a question of whether you have the willingness to spend that money to benefit working class people, not.
And such a great point, because of course, they love to weaponize the how you're going to pay for it talking point. Never does that question get asked when it comes to the subsidies that rich people and corporations get that nobody questions. So yeah, it's a brilliant way to turn that around and be like, it's just basically a subsidy. We're going to subsidize the people instead of the corporations and the super rich. Makes all the sense in the world, and normal people can understand it.
Where that money is in the first place.
So what would you cut? What would you draw from to do it?
I don't think we have to cut. I've spoken about raising taxes on the wealthiest. And frankly, this is an issue that we have here in New York City, and frankly, even across this country. When I've spoken to Trump voters right here in New York City, Hillside Avenue in Queens, Fordham Road in the Bronx, they've told me it was cost of living that drove them to vote for Donald Trump. They've told me it was a promise of a lower whether it be cheaper groceries, whether it be childcare, whether it be rent. Right. And what we're seeing time and time again is we're more focused on the question of billionaires and the most profitable corporations than we are on people who can't even afford to make ends meet in this city.
Well, we know affordability is an issue. And I think that all politicians are getting to an understanding of that. And I think that you've done a lot, actually, to bring people's attention to that issue. Let's take a look at the free buses issue just for a moment, because I know you said that the pilot project that you did was one of the biggest accomplishments of being an assemblyman.
Can we pause it really quickly?
The Washington Post said this in an editorial.
Free busing is something that any city in the United States could accomplish. We had it for a long time in Kansas City while there was the political will for it, right? Because it's not that expensive. It's pretty cheap to pay for bus fares, maintenance on buses when you have a tax pool the size of Kansas City, let alone the size of New York City. Now, you might say, well, there's going to have to be a lot more buses working in Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens and the Bronx because there's a lot more people there. True. But do you know what else you have? A ginormous tax pool. Right. And it's far more effective for traffic. It's far more environmentally and eco-friendly, right? To give people free busing, free public transit of all kinds, right? Because you're going to see less people clogging up and using congestion in the roadways. It's going to bring the cost of Ubers and taxis down because less people are going to be using it all the time, right? If you make it effective and free, people will use that public transportation, and they act like it's some impossible lift. It's actually pretty affordable when you compare it to other kinds of actions that you would take as a mayor.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy to fearmonger about that and act like it's going to break the bank to make the fucking buses free. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's probably like 0.05% of the budget when they do that, or like not even that probably.
And the real reason people fearmonger about it, and Gavin, I'm sure you know this too because we've seen it in Kansas City, they get so mad when unhoused people ride the bus.
Oh, she's about to bring that up. Yeah, she's about to go down exactly that road.
About this. Quality inevitably declines when a service is offered for free. Vagrants and drug addicts would camp out all day on New York's buses, especially in the winter. Parents would go afraid to let their children ride alone. Wealthier residents would find another way to get around, but poor New Yorkers who depend on the bus would suffer the most. What do you say to that? Do you agree with that?
Well, I would say that they should actually look at the report of the 5 free buses we delivered across New York City. We didn't see an increase in homelessness. We did see an increase in New Yorkers riding the bus. We did see a decrease in assaults on bus drivers by 38.9%. And we also saw a decrease in New Yorkers who are having to take a cab or take their own car. They were actually getting on the bus. More than 10% of new riders were doing so. That's why we care so deeply about this, because of the fact that it can actually deliver economic, public safety, and even congestion relief to New Yorkers who are looking to take these buses.
Brilliant. Brilliant. He took the words out of my mouth. That was literally what I exactly what I started to say. And as somebody who rode the bus in Kansas City while it was free, it was awesome. It was awesome, right? I should ride the bus more now because obviously I can afford to pay the like $1 or whatever that they charge you. But the idea that it's free to take the bus, that it's free to take the streetcar, it totally encouraged me to do it. When Salisa would take the car to work, because I share one car with my partner because we don't really need to, and it's also way more eco-friendly to have one car. So I would take the bus whenever I wanted to get around town. I'd be like, oh, we're not doing a show today. Well, I could take the bus to Westport and walk around half price books for a while and then take the bus back. And you know what? Never happened to me anything bad. And not only did nothing happen to me, obviously I'm like a dude nobody's gonna fuck with, right? I got a mean mug and hand tattoos, but I didn't see anybody else getting fucked with either. I think I saw one time there was like a racist redneck hillbilly that like shouted at me and like some other black dudes that were waiting for the bus. But other than that, I like, and what is that? That's not caused by the people that are taking the bus. That guy was in a beat up truck and being an asshole, right? So none of the fear mongering, none of the opposition to this is authentic, right? It's a net community benefit. And the only side, like the only technical negative is if you're like a rich guy that's going to pay 0.0001% more in taxes. And I think that guy will live.
Yeah, 100%. It's completely crazy to fearmonger about. And as you mentioned, we have a streetcar here in KC2 that's a pretty recent addition to the city. And it is free. It's totally free. Like, and there's no issues. It's not full of fucking homeless people. Like, it's a totally clean, safe, awesome experience. In fact, people from the suburbs love to come down to Kansas City on the weekends and ride the freaking streetcar. It's almost like a fucking tourist attraction. And again, it's free. So it's genuinely crazy to fearmonger about free public transportation when it's one of the easiest things for a fucking city to pull off. And by the way, if Zohran can pull off the free buses, you know, I'd say he goes for next. The fucking subways.
100%.
Make the subways free in New York City. For one, no one can fearmonger about them being like getting grosser, more disgusting, or have more homeless. Like they're already kind of nasty. It's like, really, I have to pay to use this fucking thing? Are you kidding me? So, you know, talk about making that free next. There's no reason why it can't be done. There's truly no fucking reason why it can't be done. Maybe the ultra rich on Wall Street they'll have to pay 3% extra tax instead of 2%. But I feel like, you know, it wouldn't be that impossible. Obviously, I'm not a city planner. I'm just a, you know, shithead with a microphone who likes to pretend like I'm, you know, I know all the answers.
But
yeah,
we watched it happen in Kansas City. And I guarantee you, if you can do it in Kansas City, you can do it in New York City. And shout out to Gandalf, who says they also use the free busing. And I will concede a major problem with getting the free busing off of the ground in Kansas City was reliability on bus routes, right? People can't plan to take that bus to work if they don't know when that bus is going to show up to pick them up, right?
Yeah.
They can't, oh, this bus actually isn't coming. You'll have to wait and catch the next one in an hour from now. Then you're late to work. Then you're potentially getting some sort of write up or strike situation if you have a job where they're really strict about showing up and being on time, which is like most people's jobs. Gavin and I are really lucky. Hey, bro, sorry, I'm going to be 45 minutes behind. No consequences for us, but you know what I mean? You can't just get on the bus and wonder if it's going to show up. So there needs to be punctuality. There needs to be a set schedule that is followed through on. And that was one of the ways that they fucked Kansas City with free busing, was there wasn't dependable routes and they started cut routes, and then they blamed people not using it on, oh, see, nobody cares about anything because it's free and they're scared because of homeless people.
Yeah, classic. All right, let's watch a little bit more of this. He's about to give his message to Donald Trump.
That's great.
I know that you're turning 34 on Saturday, and I want to talk about your qualifications. You know, some say you have never run a business in your life. So I'm curious, and President Trump said that you never worked a day in your life. You worked as an assemblyman, and you've had other positions in the government. But what qualifies you from your life experience to run the largest city in the country?
You know, I want to take this moment because you spoke about President Trump, and he may be watching right now. And I just want to speak directly to the president, which is that I will not be a mayor like Mayor Adams, who will call you to figure out how to stay out of jail. I won't be a disgraced governor like Andrew Cuomo, who will call you to ask how to win this election. I can do those things on my own. I will, however, be a mayor who is ready to speak at any time to lower the cost of living. That's the way that I am going to lead this city. That's the partnership I want to build, not only with Washington, D.C., but anyone across this country. I think it's important because too often the focus on the needs of working class Americans, working class New Yorkers are put to the side as we talk more and more about the very kinds of corrupt politicians like Andrew Cuomo that delivered us into this kind of crisis.
Ooh, just such a brilliant move, totally sidestepping the bullshit attempt at a gotcha. Are you experienced enough? You're only 34 and you've never worked a day in your life. And he's just like, let me address the president directly. That's some balls right there. I fucking love Zohran. He's such a brilliant communicator. And as slick as he is, it never comes off as phony.
No.
Like so many politicians that are as slick and good as Zohran when it comes to like, low-key dodging a question. It comes off phony. It comes off like
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But Gavin Newsom style, right? It's like, come on, bro. But Zohran's so quick on his feet that even when he is kind of dodging a question like that, he turns it into something so compelling that you can't look away and you forget about what the fucking question was in the first place, right? Because you're like, oh shit, he's addressing the president directly, Donald Trump. So it's great, and just such a great appearance on Fox News. You guys can watch the whole 20 minutes, but I mean, this guy is just such a fucking star. And I remember when he won the primary, it was like, all right, is he gonna be able to keep up this momentum? Like, are they going to find some dirt on him, or is he going to fuck up, say something bad? Like, nope, not a single fuck up, not a single ounce of dirt ever uncovered, not a single bad answer. Like this, I've never seen a campaign go off so flawlessly without a hitch, and to start as an underdog, come out on
huge
top.
Underdog.
Huge underdog.
We knew about Zohran. We liked Zohran. Dare I say, we were one of the first real channels to put our back into covering him in the NYC mayoral race when a lot of people were flirting with Brad Lander. We came out here and we said, Zohran is the only fucking guy, bro. Don't fuck with us. It's Zohran or bust. Brad can get on our page. We're not going on Brad's page, right? That was what we said. We're like, Zohran is our dog. He did the taxi medallion hunger strike. He called for a ceasefire immediately. He's kept it 10 toes down his entire time in Albany. We trust this guy. We fuck with this guy. We think he can be mayor, but it's a long shot. We had Sam Cedar on in June. And we were like, hey, man, what do you think about this? And he was like, bro, I don't want to let myself get as excited as you guys are, because it's easy to get swept up in things and then have your heart crushed. If you do this for long enough, it'll happen over and over. And we were like, totally fair, totally real. And he was like, but he's genuine, he's authentic, and he seems to have the sauce, right? He then went on, he won the primary. And as Gavin said, he stayed running on the barrel effortlessly. He has charisma. One of the things that people used to talk about JFK, what made JFK such a beloved politician on his rise, because he also didn't have a ton of experience. He kind of came out of left field. His dad, Joe Kennedy, was very well known, but not very well respected. He'd been really shady in dealing with the Germans in the lead up to World War II. He had a lot of Nazi connections. He was a fucking, schmoozing guy. Right. He was God, what's it called? Like an ambassador to like Ireland or some shit.
Yeah.
That was what Joe Kennedy was. Anyway, then JFK comes out and he has this magnetic pull to him. He's so uncoached, but he seems like he's been coached perfectly, right? It's effortless for him to go out there and schmooze with people. And they said there were two qualities that JFK had that made him president. And the first was, when you met him, you immediately liked him. You just fucking liked him, right? Tyrell Ventura told us the same thing happened with George Bush. He was like, I fucking hated everything about George Bush, but when I met him, I was like, fuck, dude, I could see why people like you. So people have to immediately buy into you and feel your authenticity. But there was a second component that made JFK such a motherfucker. And I think Zohran has it too. He makes you think that he likes you too. In an instant, it's like he's happy to be there. With the way that he handled that guest or that host that tried to set him up for failure, he made her laugh. He made her smile. He was polite. He was bubbly. He was warm, and he bought her in. So she was like, oh, this guy actually, he likes me. This isn't going to be like an antagonistic thing. Like, I'm going to ask him my pre-prepped questions, but we're on the same page and we're bubbly, and that allowed him to connect even deeper with the people at home, who it also seems like he wants to represent. He wants to represent me. He wants me to benefit from his rise in politics. And I think that's so essential to his campaign.
Yep, 100%. Before we move on to AOC and Bernie, one other thing I want to spotlight from Zohran World. I thought this was really cool, Zach, because, we're talking more about how, everyone's on their stupid AI, fucking their AI girlfriend or whatever the fuck, Zohran has really made like touching grass a theme of his campaign. He did the scavenger hunt, which was super cool. And now he's put out this video announcing the Cost of Living Classic, a free citywide soccer tournament in Coney Island. And let's take a look at this because I really appreciate how it's encouraging, again, New Yorkers to go out, touch grass, but also engage in a friendly competition based on the various boroughs. So let's take a look. And again, this is just ingenious stuff, regardless of the campaign, even if he was just already mayor, like even if he had nothing to prove, I hope he keeps doing stuff like this because it's just it increases, like it makes the city more fun. You know, it's pro fun. It's pro just like getting outside and walking around and playing a game of fucking soccer.
Building.
Yeah, community building, which we don't see enough of these days in the era of artificial intelligence and doom scrolling. So yeah, let's take a look.
So what's your take? In each neighborhood, we should have a sports club and they should all compete in a yearly tournament.
I 100% agree. In fact, I agree so much that we're going to host a borough versus borough soccer tournament. We're partnering with NYC Footy to bring you the Cost of Living Classic this Sunday, October 19th at Maimonides Park in Coney Island. But I have to apologize because the price to participate is absolutely nothing. It's zero, it's zilch, it's nada. So grab your friends, summon your borough pride, and get ready to play. Or just come watch the games. Registration is live now, and you can find all the details at zohranfornyc.com/COL Classic. See you on Sunday.
Brilliant. Oh my gosh. I actually hadn't seen this until you just played it, Gavin. That's an incredible idea. It's genius. I was actually just talking to Salisa a few days ago about how because we live in a interconnected world, right? And there's so much of a focus on success and like being the best and all those kinds of things. So we don't really have community sports leagues in the past. I was going through at the library this like photo book of old Kansas City newspaper clippings. And in like 1985 or whenever the hell it was a long time ago, really old clipping, but it was just the Hyde Park soccer tournament. And it was a bunch of dudes that were like me and Gavin's age. They were not professional soccer players. There was an MLS team back then, but it was a bunch of guys that got together 3 times a week, one game on Saturday, and they would play each other. And it was like Hyde Park, very similar to this kind of a deal, right? And we don't have that anymore. There's not like, oh, I'm going to go do intramural sports at the YMCA. Like you have guys that are really dedicated to their college hoop careers still. But other than that, there's not a lot of, I just want to go out. I just want to, play kickball. I just want to go play soccer. I want to start a softball team. We need more of that because it doesn't matter that, oh, you're never going to go pro in soccer. Like, oh, I'm never going to be a professional athlete. You should still be able to play sports as a game, as a pastime, as a way to go out and enjoy yourself. And I think that one of the things we've lost is like, oh, if I'm not going to be a master at this, oh, if I'm not going to be the best in the world at this, like, I don't want to do it. Like, I even found myself getting discouraged like that when I got really into bouldering, right? Which I've started to do again because I'm like, no, this is a hobby. You don't have to be the best to do a hobby. You can just do it because it's fun. But then you watch YouTube videos of people that are like bouldering insane stuff. And you're like, God damn it. Like, I'll never be this good. You know what I mean? You can just go out and enjoy stuff, even if you're not doing it for an end goal. It can just be for your own, enjoyment. And I think Zohran standing for that is a big plus for the socialist movement because it shows that socialists are pro fun.
Yeah, 100%. So just another brilliant move from Zohran. Yeah, can't wait to be in New York City and watch him win.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there. The Vanguard will be there.